We're going up to Washington tomorrow. I gotta put my winter jacket in Washington, and I'll see you in Washington. Ciao. We are now at the Lincoln Memorial, and ever since I started planning this trip, there were two photos I really wanted to take. One of them is of the Lincoln statue, which is to my left, a close-up of it. I really want that shot. And another one is right behind me. I'm not sure if you can see it. Okay, I got kicked out by another photographer because there was an engagement happening in a couple of minutes, so I had to leave that place. As I was saying, there's two photos I really need to take. One of them is behind me of the Lincoln statue, and the other one is in front of me, the Washington Monument. It's not gonna be easy. Both places are packed with people. It's the middle of February, it's off season, and there's still a lot of people around me. Imagine what's here in the middle of the summer. Okay, so yesterday, right after I took those shots, we went to the Library of Congress. That building is over 100 years old, and visually it's just astonishing. Check this, they have about 51 million books in there in over 470 languages. What? So yeah, that makes it the biggest library in the world. After that, we went to the White House, and I think I managed to take a nice photo of it. And the best part is that in the late afternoon, after we had dinner, I managed to take a night version of these three photos. This is by far the biggest cemetery I've ever been in. Guys, the place is huge. The highlights of this visit was seeing John F. Kennedy's grave and his wife's, and also his brother buried quite close to him. And last but definitely not least, we witnessed the change of the guards at the tomb of the unknown soldier. I thought that was super interesting. Right after, we went to the 9/11 memorial at the Pentagon that has a really interesting concept in honoring those that died that day. They have set up 184 benches, each with the name of every passenger on it, and they're all arranged in these rows where you can see the birth year of every single victim. Right now we're in Georgetown, one of the oldest neighborhoods in Washington, D.C. Let's check out the place. It's way too early. Nah, not great, not terrible. 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 Going to the Ford's Theater, the place where Lincoln died, was an amazing experience, to be honest, from more points of views. Because from the one side, I saw all these movies, you know, drama-like or science fiction where they go back in time and try to save Lincoln from dying and so on. So from that point of view, it was so interesting to actually be in the theater myself. But on the other side, you know, I'll admit, I didn't really know much about Lincoln or his death, so I've learned a lot while being there for a couple of hours, and I'm so grateful to the guide that we had, because apart from other guides and other museums that I've listened to, this guy truly put on a performance while telling us a piece of history. It was really cool to be there. I wanted to tell you a quote that stuck with me from the museum, and it goes like this: in his life he was a great American. He's no longer so. He's one of those giant figures of whom there are very few in history who lose their nationality in death. They're no longer Greek or Hebrew or English or American. They belong to mankind. Okay, enough with the history lesson for now. I need a hot dog. Oh. Visiting the Ford's Theater, after you see the actual place where Abraham got shot, it's really nice because they let you go across the street in the building where he was taken after he got shot, where he actually died. There they organized a couple of floors of actual museum of the aftermath of what happened after he got shot. It's really cool. There were a couple of more memorials we really wanted to pass by, and that's Thomas Jefferson, Roosevelt, and of course Martin Luther King. But there's also one more photo on my to-do list. It's a must. It's behind me, the Capitol. Okay, cool. I think that was pretty good, wasn't it? We're actually gonna go inside now. I'm not sure if we're allowed to film or take photos, but I think you'll find out in a couple of seconds. Okay, that was pretty cool. I never thought I'll actually get to be inside the Capitol. Our guide was really nice, and all the artwork we got to see was also super interesting. Fun fact, every state, all 50 states, get to send 2 statues to the Capitol of historical figures they think they represent their state best. It was really nice to go and see most of them. We have a couple of more hours in Washington, and with that we want to go into the National Archives to steal the Declaration of Independence. And you know, I kept thinking it's a bit pointless to start comparing now Miami with Washington. But if there's one small thing I want to leave you with now is that, for example, the architecture is so familiar yet different. For example, you can find yourself in a neighborhood in one street where you could swear you're in the middle of London, and another one where you can relate with all the movies you've seen and it looks like a typical American street. It still feels a bit surreal to me that I managed to see all these important, iconic, places here in Washington. All these ones that I grew up with as a kid, seeing in the movies, right? So I think that was a really cool experience for me. But now I think I gotta go in. I would like to thank you for watching so far, and hope I'll see you in Philadelphia.